Hello, sports fans. We are ready for NFL picks for week number 3 in the league where they play. For pay! And let's get right to it. Let's get to pick number 1. Let's go to historic Soldier Field in Chicago where the Pittsburgh Steelers are -7.5 against the Chicago Bears. Steelers up to 2-0, handled Minnesota. I bet the Steelers heavy last week. Once I found out Bradford was questionable and that he wasn't going to play, I bet the Steelers in a lot of combinations. It paid off for me. Once Bradford was out of that game, you knew Minnesota's offense wasn't going to do much in the Steel City. So Pittsburgh 2-0. Chicago 0-2. They were very competitive in week 1. Could have beat Atlanta in week 1, and it all fell apart for Chicago last week in Tampa as they got destroyed by the Buccaneers. That was an ugly performance by the Bears. As far as this game, listen, I know the Steelers can be choppy on the road. I know they can be sloppy, but there's no way I'm taking the Bears. So I'm going to move this line from 7.5 to 1.5, and I'll take the Steelers in a teaser. Steelers will probably play their usual ugly road game and win like 23-20, but I got to think they have enough to get through here, and I cannot take Chicago after what I saw last week. So Steelers in a teaser, that's pick number 1. Pick number 2, let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Not too far from here with the Miami Dolphins, a -6 against the New York Jets. Miami 1-0, beat the Chargers last week. Nice job by Miami. Miami the last 2 years, after getting off to a cold start at the beginning of last year, they have really shown me a lot of moxie, a lot of guts, a lot of grit. They lose Tannehill for the year, but they're still fighting. They're still battling. They were down for a lot of this game against the Chargers, but they have the big kick at the end, a clutch kick, and they pull the game out against the Chargers. So nice win by Miami. They show me a lot of guts. I don't love Cutler, but Miami is gritty. They are gutty, and they do have that big running back who I love so much. The Jets, 0-2, got destroyed by Oakland, especially in the second half. Game was close for a while, but once the Jets muffed the punt at the end of the second quarter and the Raiders took it in, it was all Raiders in the second half. The Jets, I'm going to be saying this all year, they just don't have any talent. They have nothing really to work with, the Jets. They may play hard, they may give you a good first half, but they just don't have a lot of talent. I know this is a division game. I know it's a rivalry game. I don't love Cutler. He can always blow up a game for you, but I got to think Miami's going to get through. Again, I'll move the line to even. I'll move it from 6 to even. I got to think the Dolphins are going to get through. Lean on their running back. Miami will find a way to win. I'll take Miami in a teaser. That's pick number 2. Fins up. Pick number 3. Let's go up to Buffalo where the Denver Broncos are -2.5 against the Buffalo Bills. Denver 2-0, and they just laid the wood on the Cowboys. How impressive were the Broncos last week? Beat up Dallas in all phases of the game. I mean, they just torched Dallas. It was an absolute beating of epic proportions. Denver looked awesome last week. Simeon looks like a different quarterback, and you know why? Denver has a running game this year so far. They didn't have a running game last year. They have a running game to lean on. That sets up a little play-action pass to Thomas, to Sanders. Simeon played great last week. We know the Denver defense is always going to be there. We know that home crowd's always going to be there. So Denver, very impressive through the first 2 weeks of the season. And they take their show on the road now. They go up to Buffalo. Buffalo 1-1. Lost an absolute snooze fest to Carolina 9-3. Carolina had 1,000,001 chances to put this game away. Couldn't do it. Buffalo was just anemic on offense for most of the day, but still had a chance to win it at the end. They drop a pass at the 1-yard line with time running out. They would have had a chance to win the game, Buffalo. It would have been a tough catch. It could have been made, though. So Buffalo, despite not playing well at all, still had a chance to win. I have not seen a lot from the Buffalo offense the first 2 weeks. They did nothing last week. I wasn't all that impressed with them against the Jets either. Their defense has played hard. Their defense has played well. But against this Bronco defense, and now the Broncos doing it on offense, it's hard to see Buffalo putting anything together on offense. I could see Buffalo having 10 points in this game. I got to go with Denver off the first 2 weeks. I know it's a road game now. I have to go with Denver, though. They were so impressive, and their defense is always there for you. And Buffalo, I don't like their offense. I'll take the Broncos. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4. Let's go up to New England with the New England Patriots are -13 against the Houston Texans. New England up to 1-1, just like we thought. They'd handled New Orleans down in the Super Bowl. We know New England's going to find a way to have a good season. We know that. Despite the Edelman being out and Amendola being out for a while and Gronkowski and Hogan being banged up and the defense being shaky right now, they'll figure it out and they'll still go 11-5 and be a contender in the playoffs. We know they're going to find a way. As far as Houston, 1-1, did beat Cincinnati on the Thursday night, beat them with the rookie quarterback Watson. I thought that was a nice win for Houston. I know Cincinnati's not any good, but give Houston credit on a short week, rookie quarterback, bad offensive line, no tight ends available. They found a way to win on the road on a short week. So give Houston credit. Houston's defense is really good. But I have to think here, this is asking too much. Going into New England, I mean, you got to think New England will pull it out. You want to move this line down to 7 in a teaser, I could see that. Even straight up, you got to think New England is going to eventually break this game open. I just can't see Houston scoring a lot of points. I just can't see their defense winning this game. It's putting too much pressure on their defense here. Got to think New England gets through. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5. Let's go down to Carolina, where the Carolina Panthers are -6 against the New Orleans Saints. Carolina 2-0, held on and beat Buffalo, had so many chances to put this game away, let Buffalo hang around. Cam Newton got shaken up, but he will play this week. Olsen is out, though. He has a broken foot. He'll be out a while. That's a big loss for Carolina. He's a very, very important part of that team. New Orleans 0-2, lost to New England. New Orleans looks like one of the worst teams in the league. They look dreadful through the first 2 weeks. Got bombed in Minnesota. Didn't look good here against New England at home. Breeze looks like he's getting older. We know that New Orleans defense is not any good. They don't usually play well on the road. Despite Olsen being out, I got to go with Carolina. They haven't given up a touchdown in 2 games. New Orleans doesn't show me anything. Again, you think the spread's too high at 6. Maybe use Carolina in a teaser. I mean, I don't love the game without Olsen, but I got to think Carolina's going to find a way to win. I'll take Carolina. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6, this game is still off the board. Minnesota at home against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 1-0, destroyed Chicago. I think Tampa Bay is going to be good this year. Minnesota 1-1, lost to Pitt. We don't know about Bradford, and I never thought this injury to Bradford would be this serious. You know, I watched him on Monday night. He played well. I never thought he was going to miss time. Now he may miss multiple weeks. If Bradford's out, it's asking a lot for Minnesota to beat Tampa Bay, even at home. This is a very, very strange game. With the question marks to Bradford, the spread being off the board right now, I don't know where to go here, but I'll go Tampa. I was leaning towards Tampa. I thought Tampa, if Bradford played, would be a slight underdog. I'm going to go with Tampa because Tampa showed me a lot last week. I thought they were very, very impressive. I'm going to lean towards Tampa in this game. If you're telling me the game's pick 'em or something, I'll go Tampa there. Let's go to pick number 7. Let's go to Detroit. This is a very, very nice game. One of the must-watch games of the weekend. The Atlanta Falcons are -3 against the Detroit Lions. Atlanta up to 2-0, beat Green Bay. I'll tell you, Atlanta has Green Bay's number. Green Bay does not want to see Atlanta in the playoffs. Atlanta plays very well against Green Bay. Atlanta did not play well in Week 1 in Chicago. They played very well here against Green Bay. Opened up their new stadium in style. Glad to see they had that roof open in the new Atlanta Stadium. Atlanta, without a doubt, one of the best teams in football, has a real chance to win the Super Bowl this year. Detroit 2-0. Listen, Detroit had a nice season last year. They look like they're going to have a decent season this year. They look like a good team to me. They beat the Giants, handled the Giants. Giants' offense is awful. We'll get to them in a second. But Detroit is going to be a good team. I think Detroit's a good team. I think Atlanta's a very good team. So I'm going to go with very good over good. I'll take Atlanta, give the 3. Must-watch game, interesting game. I just like the Falcons a little more here. I'll take Atlanta. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go to Philadelphia, where the Philadelphia Eagles are -4 against the New York Giants. Philadelphia 1-1, lost to Kansas City. This was a very close game for a lot of the game. Kansas City started to pull away. Eagles tried to make a comeback at the end, but fell short. Giants 0-2, and the Giant offense looks like one of the worst offenses in the history of football. Their offensive line, which was bad last year, is bad again this year. They brought the same group back. They haven't gotten any better. They have injuries to the offensive line. Beckham played last night, but he looks like he's not 100%. Why did the Giants bring Marshall on this team from the Jets? He looks like he's done. Eli shaky. The Giant offense is atrocious. The Giant defense is going to be good, but you're asking a lot from the defense when the offense gives you nothing. The Giant offense, going back to last year, has not been over 20 points in 8 games. That's 2 months of football. They have not been over 20 points. In this day and age in the NFL, that's not going to get it done. And here's another thing, before I pick the game. What's with the Giants celebrating last night? Giants finally score a touchdown to make it 7-7. Their only touchdown of the year, by the way, and their only touchdown of the game. And they get a taunting penalty, and then the kicker kicks the ball out of bounds. So the Giants finally get a touchdown. They tie the game at 7. They get a taunting penalty. Then the kicker kicks the ball out of bounds. Detroit starts at the Giant 45 of the next drive and goes down and scores and takes all the momentum away again. What is with these players with the celebration all the time? Are you kidding me? Pierre-Paul did it last night too. Pierre-Paul at 7-7 had a nice sack of Stafford. The ball came loose. And as the ball's on the ground, Pierre-Paul is not interested in going to get the ball. Oh no, someone else can do that. He's interested in doing a dance while the ball's loose on the ground. Yeah, all right, let's do the Humpty dance. The ball's on the ground. Someone else can go and pick that up. I'm too interested in doing my Humpty dance here. Yeah, let's go, let's go. Someone else can grab that ball. I'm not interested in that. I want to work on my dance. You see this all over the league. So many of these players are interested in celebrating rather than just playing football. Pierre-Paul sacks Stafford, the ball's on the ground, and he's dancing while the ball's loose. Now, the Giants ended up recovering it, but that's not the point. Hey, Pierre-Paul, tone down the Humpty dance and go after that football on the ground. Give me a break. As far as this game, I'm going with the Eagles. The Giants have showed me nothing on offense. The Eagles have their home opener here. I think the Eagles will handle the Giants. I think the Giants are in for a long season. Despite having a good defense, they have no offense. I got to go with Philly here, especially at home. Home opener, I like the Eagles here. Fly, Eagles, fly. That's pick number 8. Pick number 9. Let's go to Nashville, Tennessee, with the Tennessee Titans on -2.5 against the Seattle Seahawks. Tennessee 1-1, pulled away from Jacksonville in the second half. Jacksonville set football, offensive football, back 4 million years in this game. Seattle 1-1. Speaking of bad offensive football, what is Seattle doing? They barely beat San Francisco 12-9, and they were lucky to do it. Seattle's offense is atrocious. Again, another team, like the Giants, they have a good defense. They have no offense. They're putting too much pressure on their defense, Seattle. They have absolutely no offense. They were lucky to beat San Francisco. They won 12-9, had to score late to win this game. Terrible job by the Seattle offense. They just have no offensive punch. I know the defense is good, but it's asking too much for the defense to win the game by themselves. Yeah, they can beat San Francisco. They're not going to be able to go on the road in the playoffs and win it like that against a very good team like, say, in Atlanta. As far as this game, I'm going to go with Tennessee. They're home. I think they can get enough points to win this game, and Seattle has shown me nothing offensively. They've shown me nothing offensively. I like Russell Wilson. I like Seattle. They're just showing me nothing offensively. I don't know if they're going to score more than 13 points in this game. They have nothing going on offense. I'll take Tennessee at home there. I'll give the 2.5. That's pick number 9. Pick number 10, let's go out to Los Angeles with the Kansas City Chiefs on -3 against the LA Chargers. Chiefs 2-0, beat Philadelphia. We know the Chiefs are going to be one of the best teams in the AFC. We know they're going to have one of the best records. We know Andy Reid is a great regular season coach. We know all that. Chargers 0-2 found yet a new and creative way to lose to Miami as they botched up the clock management at the end of this game in 100 different ways. They should be spiking the ball when they're calling timeout. They're running the field goal team on third down. I mean, they should have gotten closer. I don't know why they were relying on Koo, who missed a kick last week and a kick earlier in this game, to come through for them. This was no 20-yard field goal. I mean, why were the Chargers playing for this longer field goal? I don't understand why. They could have got a little closer. They got Rivers taking a snap and, kneeling down in the middle of the field like this was a short thing. I mean, like, Koo's one of the best kickers in the NFL history. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Chargers set themselves up for another loss, and sure enough, they botched it as Koo, for the second straight game, did not come through. Missed a kick against Denver that would have tied the game. Missed a kick earlier in this game, and then misses the potential game-winning kick. Koo not exactly off to a blazing start, but I'll tell you what, he fits right in with the Chargers. P-U, you stink. Chargers, you stink. As far as I'm concerned, the Chargers season is already over. They're 0-2. The rest of the teams in that tough division are 2-0. I think the Chargers are looking at 0-3 here. I think the Chargers are already done. Same old story with the Chargers. New coach, playing in a new venue, same results. They'll find a way to screw up the game. I like the Chiefs here. The Chiefs are a together team. They're one of the best teams. They'll find a way to win. Chargers will find a way to lose. P-U. Let's go to pick number 11. Let's go to Lambeau Field in Green Bay, the frozen tundra, where the Green Bay Packers are -9 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Green Bay 1-1. Didn't play it well at all again against Atlanta. Cincinnati 0-2. And again, another theme. Another team that has set offensive football back millions of years. Cincinnati 0-2 lost to Houston. Could not score an offensive touchdown. Cincinnati became the first team since 1939 to open the first 2 games at home and not score an offensive touchdown. Think about that. They fired their offensive coordinator already. Cincinnati has talent on this team, but they're an absolute mess. To me, it's time for Lewis to go. It's time for Dalton to go. Cincinnati is an absolute disaster. I can't like them here. The spread's high at 9. I'll move it down to maybe 3. I'll take Green Bay in a teaser. I got to think Green Bay at home off a loss is going to handle this Cincinnati team that can't even get into the end zone. Green Bay's pick number 11. Pick number 12. Let's go to Washington, D.C. with the Oakland Raiders. A -3 against the Washington Redskins. Oakland 2-0, obliterated the Jets in the second half. Oakland's a Super Bowl contender. They're one of the best teams in football. Washington 1-1, typical Washington. Lose one, win one, lose one, win one. They're up, down, Cousins up, down. I was impressed with Washington that they had a good running game. They couldn't run the ball at all in week 1. They stuffed the ball right down the Rams' throat in this game. They ran the ball at will. Rams have a good front, so Washington had a very good running game here. Cousins didn't do a heck of a lot. He did have a nice drive at the end, but this was all about the Washington running game. Washington looked like they wanted this game more than the Rams. That being said, I'm taking Oakland here. Oakland's a Super Bowl contender. Washington's an 8-8 team. It's only 3 points. I don't think Washington can handle that Oakland offense. I'll take the Raiders to win. That's pick number 12. Pick number 13. Let's go to the desert in Arizona, where the Dallas Cowboys are -3 against the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona 1-1 were very lucky to beat the Colts. I mean, Arizona has not looked good at all in the first 2 weeks. They look like a very lethargic team so far. Lucky to beat the Colts, and the Colts were playing without Andrew Luck. So Arizona, listen, give them credit for finding a way to win on the road. I have not been impressed with them at all. Dallas 1-1, and they just took it on the chin in Denver in all aspects of the game. Now they were questioning Elliott. Was he given 100%? They took a beating physically and mentally in this game. Now listen, let's be fair to Dallas. They haven't taken a beating like this in a while. Not all of last year. I mean, they only lost 3 games last year. They were all close. 2 to the Giants, 1 to Green Bay. This is the first time Dallas has really taken a beating. And remember, they are playing a young quarterback. So let's give them a pass here. This is a very interesting game to see how Dallas is going to respond. What is Dallas going to show you here mentally? Are they going to show you that they can bounce back and be a really good team? Or are they going to be mentally soft and let that game, last week hinder them into this game? I think Dallas is a good team. I think they were embarrassed last week. I think they're going to show pride here against an Arizona team that, let's be honest, is very beatable, is very mediocre. I know the game's in Arizona. There'll be a lot of Dallas fans there. Arizona's back is out. Arizona is a very beatable team. Dallas, extra day to prepare for this game. I think Dallas will show some pride here. I think they'll get back to their winning ways, and they'll handle Arizona. Very interesting game to see how Dallas bounces back off, taking a bad beating for the first time in a while. We'll see how they react. So I'm going to go Dallas there. I think they will react well. So that's pick number 13. Listen, as far as these other 3 games, I'm not going to pick these games. These are 3 disasters here. The Thursday night game is Rams at Niners. I mean, I am not picking that game. Niners are 0-2, haven't scored an offensive touchdown yet this year. I know they hung in the game against Seattle, but I can never take the Niners. Rams are 1-1. I don't trust them on the road. They didn't play all that well against Washington. I'm not taking that game. I can't stand Thursday Night Football to begin with, and I'm certainly not taking a Ram Niner game. I'm not taking Cleveland, Indianapolis. Cleveland is actually favored on the road. That's all you need to know about this game. Colts still without luck. I mean, Cleveland 0-2, Colts 0-2. I'm not going anywhere near that one. I'll let you guys handle that one. And then the London game, Baltimore -4 against Jacksonville. Baltimore 2-0, started off nice. Jacksonville 1-1. How bad was Jacksonville last week? How bad was Bortles? I know their top receiver is out, but come on. Bortles looks like an absolute bust. They may have to get Henny in there. They may have to draft a quarterback next year. Jacksonville's offense was atrocious. Baltimore's favored by 4 here. I may lean towards Baltimore, but I don't like these London games. The travel, the time. Why is the NFL so obsessed with putting a team in London? Why are they so obsessed with playing these games in London? I don't understand it. Is the English Premier League obsessed with putting a team here in New York to play like in their Premier League? Why is the NFL so obsessed with playing these games in London? This has nothing to do against England. I like England. I like the stadium. I like the fans. They'll be into it. But I do not understand why the NFL is so obsessed with playing these games over in London. I just don't get it. I don't get into these games. 9:30 this game will start Eastern Standard Time. 6:30 West Coast time. So if you're out in L.A., are you getting up at 6:30 in the morning to watch Baltimore Jacksonville from London? No, I don't think so. So I'm going to pass on that game as well. So those are my picks for week number 3 in the NFL. Still trying to sort out the NFL, see who's good, who's not. Still getting a feel for all the games. I had a decent week last week. Did better with the teasers and the over and unders. I was okay with the straight ups, but better with the teasers and the over and unders. As far as college football, listen, Clemson beat Louisville last week. Florida beat Tennessee on a Hail Mary. What was Tennessee doing at the end of this game? I mean, you think you should drop a couple guys back, when the Florida's throwing a Hail Mary? Mississippi State crushed LSU. That was a very impressive win by Miss State. USC beat Texas in a wild one. Northern Illinois beat Nebraska. Nice win for them. And Memphis upset UCLA. Again, this week, nothing stands out to me in college football. Not a lot of great games. The big game this week is TCU Oklahoma State. That should be like a 66-63 game. Georgia plays Mississippi State. That's an interesting game to watch. Georgia's with the backup quarterback, beat Notre Dame. Miss State had the big win against LSU. Now they got to go on the road. Interesting. Notre Dame, Michigan State for history purposes. Maybe you get into that. USC Cal if you're on the West Coast, but not a lot going on in college football. I may bet Oklahoma. They're 27 over Baylor, and Baylor looks like one of the worst teams in college football. Baylor a couple of years ago was knocking on the door for a national championship. Now they look like they might not win a game. They lost to Liberty and Texas San Antonio at home this year. Oklahoma should blow them out, but I don't like a lot in college football. Not a lot of great matchups in college football, but I'll keep an eye on some games, but nothing really stands out. I may play Oklahoma. As far as Major League Baseball, we got a good race for the wild card. Twins and Angels, they're really coming down the home stretch, battling. We'll see who gets that last wild card spot. Cleveland's big winning streak finally came to an end. And now I got to get to boxing. And boxing will rear-end you any chance they get. I never get through a boxing match without some sort of controversy, bad decisions, bad refereeing, disqualifications, bad fights. It's never just a good fight with a good solid decision. It's always some malarkey. Again, suckers, pluck down your money for your pay-per-view. We made you buy Mayweather, Conor McGregor, which was an absolute farce. Now we make you buy Alvarez Golovkin, which was a good fight, but again, marred by a bad decision. One of the judges has it 10-2 for Alvarez. She's been a bad judge her whole career. You can look up all the bad fights she scored. She's been bad for a long time, yet she's one of the judges for one of the biggest fights we've had, and she makes that kind of decision. 10-2 for Alvarez. I thought Golovkin won the fight. It was a good fight. I thought Golovkin won a close fight. How do you have it 10-2 for Alvarez which makes the fight a draw. Now they're going to ask you 6 months from now to pluck down your pay-per-view money and do this again. Boxing will rear-end you any chance they get. It's ridiculous. I think the UFC puts on a better show. They will give you the best fighters all the time. The best guys want to fight the best guys. Belts mean something in the UFC. Dana White controls the UFC. He makes the best guys fight each other. The judging is better. The cards are better. Not only do they give you on a pay-per-view the main event, they give you 4 good fights before that. Boxing gives you nothing on the undercard, and then they will mess up the main event any chance they get. I mean, what a disgrace that someone had this fight 10 rounds to 2. Just mauled the whole event. And then after the fight, I'm watching Teddy Atlas and Stephen A. Smith go at it. First of all, when did Stephen A. Smith become a boxing guru? Isn't he an NBA guy? Now he's all of a sudden Mr. Boxing. And I have nothing against Stephen A. Smith. I like him more than most people. Most people can't stand him. I actually like Stephen A. Smith. Since when did he become a boxing guru? And he's arguing with Teddy Atlas saying, oh, well, I'm not going to let this one judge ruin the fight for me. He acted like this was the first time this has ever happened in boxing. Stephen A. Smith, have you been asleep? Have you been frozen in ice? I mean, the last 20 years? Boxing always has bad decisions. Do you remember Pacquiao over in Australia just recently? When he won that fight and they gave it to the other guy? How about Pacquiao-Bradley when they gave it to Bradley? How about Lennox Lewis-Holyfield, the first fight? How about Sweet Pea Whitaker against Chavez when Sweet Pea Whitaker won every round and they gave, I think they scored that fight a draw? Stephen A. Smith, this is not just one judge, one fight. This happens time and time again. Stephen A. Smith, were you frozen in ice? Boxing constantly does this to you. And it does ruin the whole event when you have a mega fight and there's bad judging at the end. It's like having a great Super Bowl and it's marred by a bad call at the end. Stephen A. Smith, wake up. This judge and this scoring did ruin the fight because that's all we're talking about now. Oh my goodness. So again, boxing does it to you again, time in and time out. I thought Golovkin won the fight. I thought it was a good fight, but once again, it's marred by bad judging. 10-2 for Alvarez is absolutely ridiculous. But don't worry, 6 months from now, you can pluck down your pay-per-view money yet again. Okay, there you go. You guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. You have your picks for week number 3 in the NFL. Thanks as always for the great messages. You guys stay happy, healthy, and safe. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. I'll talk to you guys next Tuesday. Take care.